Hi all, this is the Zoom with BandLab tutorial part 4, recording with BandLab. Here's how recording on BandLab works in the web version. I'll show the recording controls first from left to right. The left arrow with the vertical line, if you click on it, takes the playhead back to the beginning of the current track, or maybe to the edge of a segment if the track is made up of segments. Next, the right-facing arrow is the play button if you want to listen to what's on the track. When it's in play mode, it turns into a pause or stop button. The right arrow with the vertical line goes to the end of the track. Then the red button will start recording and it will stop recording. And once again, if you recorded something by accident and you want to undo it, over here in the upper left corner, the left curved arrow is the undo button. A teacher will open the Collaborators window and start a live session, inviting members of the ensemble to join. The invitation will show up in the participants' notifications, where they will go to the See Pending Invites icon, accept the invite, and go to the project. After opening the mix editor for the project, they will open their Collaborators window and click on the Join button in the upper right corner of the collaboration window. A collaborator is initially in view mode, while the person who launched the live session is in edit mode. To hand over control, the editor will click on the double arrow Allow Control icon in the green live session bar and select the next collaborator to get control. A window will pop up where an Allow button will confirm the next editor, whose name will also appear in green under the project name at the top of the window. So right now it's not visible, but this is where the editor's name would appear in green. For our trio recording example, our pianist will be the first collaborator to have editing control of the project, and will record a complete take of the Mendelssohn Scherzo with the metronome off, so that icon for the metronome should be white. He will turn off the count-in feature in the metronome control panel, so over here he will select off, and click on the arrow to close the panel. Since he plays first with a solo, he doesn't have to count off, as his solo will establish the pulse and tempo. Once he is done recording his take, he can actually place the playhead right before the track begins, instead of going to the very beginning. And that way he can start playback closer to the track. Now in the Collaborators window, he will hand over control to the violinist, who should have headphones on. After the violinist selects her track to record on, she can place the playhead at the beginning of the piano track and make sure that the volume is not too loud for the playback so that the piano sound doesn't leak out of her headphones and get re-recorded. Then when ready, she will click on the red button to start recording. With the piano track playing in her headphones, her playing should be as together as possible, so her track will be proportional in timing. Then she will click on the same red button to stop. If she makes a mistake early on, she can stop the recording and use the undo command or arrow, then start over. If after making a complete take she wants to try again, she can mute the track she just recorded by clicking on the N in her track control panel, create a new track with the microphone icon, and record her take 2 with the piano a second time. With her previously recorded take muted, she will only hear the piano part and she can record a new take. If the new take is better, she can delete the first one. She or the teacher can even splice together the best parts of each violin track, but for now we'll use a complete take. When she goes back to play both tracks together, the audio will likely not be aligned due to latency. Luckily, it's easy to adjust her track. In the View menu, the setting Snap to Grid should be unselected so that rather than being green, it should be white. Then she can slide her track's position to line up better with the piano track. Now clearly her part is not yet aligned because she should be playing by now. And we are almost near the beginning of the space available to slide her track over. So we will use the trim icon in the lower left corner of her track to turn the cursor into a vertical line with a double arrow and trim the empty space in the beginning of her track and move it over. So we're moving it over by grabbing it with the cursor looking like a hand. It may help to zoom in and widen the waveform so it's easier to see where the beats are. And she may need a few attempts at listening to the piano track to know where exactly to come in. Right there is the upbeat where the violin enters. We'll trim it a little more. Here on her track is the upbeat waveform. And I've put the playhead line roughly on the pianist's upbeat. So I'm going to see if I can line it up. Now you'll notice her track, because I selected it, is enlarged on the bottom to make the waveforms a bit easier to see. And you can really fine-tune the location. So you can hear that we actually did pretty well in lining up the violin and the piano parts together. Once the violin track is synced up, she can hand over control to the cellist. He can then follow the same procedures as above to record his track. So we're going to fine-tune it. Notice I'm clicking in the black space to locate the playhead just before the violin and the cello come in. So I don't need to hear the whole beginning of the piano part. So now the parts are aligned and it sounds like a piano trio. Once all three tracks are recorded and synchronized, each track can be selected to adjust its location in the stereo mix. With the piano trio, it's good to have the piano be right in the center. The violin tends to sit more on the left side, so we can bring that over a little bit. So we're bringing the violin over to the left. And the cello tends to sit on the right side, so we're going to move the cello over to the right a little bit. So let's see what that mix sounds like. So now the violin is more in the left speaker, and the cello is more in the right speaker, and the piano is right in the center. So that makes a more natural sounding mix. Here's a couple of pro tips. One, when recording with BandLab, be sure to announce your instrument and your take number out loud before you play, just like when you have a movie take with a clapperboard. This is to help with editing audio, and at the end of the week, it will also help with editing video files together to create the final project video. Everybody should keep note of the take number. You may want to keep a log in a written notebook, especially teachers. A second pro tip, before recording in BandLab, Be sure not to accidentally select somebody else's track and record over it. So you can see that just happened in the middle of the piano part. Luckily, it's easy to undo a mistake like that with the undo button. Do that immediately. Let's talk about editing. Recording a complete take of a complete movement can be challenging. But just like making a movie, a recording can be made in shorter segments that are edited together. The challenge is making sure that all the parts and all the segments are aligned correctly. Suppose the violinist records the first part of the movement. To add more material, she'll need to start recording a new track at a point before the end of her first take in order to have a splice point. The splice point can be done as a straight vertical slice between two separate tracks. The straight slice method is the audio equivalent of cutting and pasting in a Google Doc. But it's important to make sure the new track is aligned properly with the other tracks being used. First, the violinist will create a new track to record her take 2. She will mute take 1 and check the alignment on the playback. Again, she can use the editor window to fine-tune it. Now let's find a place where she might not have wanted to keep a section. Let's suppose she wanted to cut at a particular upbeat. I'm going to solo her part from take 1. Right there in that upbeat, let's pretend that she doesn't want to keep it. If that's the case, she'll want to enlarge the width of the waveform and place the playhead right before the upbeat she doesn't want to keep. Once she has the playhead exactly where she wants it, she can go to the Edit menu and use the command Slice at Playhead. And now track 2 has been split into 2 parts. Since the later part is the part she doesn't want to use, she can select it and delete it. Now she has to go to her take 2 and find the corresponding upbeat, and we need to cut right there. Again, we can solo that particular track to locate this upbeat. So it's that same figure. So we're going to do the same procedure and cut right there. Now we're going to get rid of the preceding material in take 2. And now the tricky part is we're going to take her take 2 from track 4 and drag it into track 2. So we are starting the violin part with take 1, and then we're going to switch to take 2. Let's see if it's clean. Again, we will solo that track where the splice was made. Not bad. Let's see how it sounds with the others. Since that sounds like it's lined up, we can save her changes. And if that happens to be the end of the session, we can exit.